Hello there, and welcome back to day 2 of Mock Ember here on the Master Mouldie channel, where we're taking the 2025 LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar, so spoilers ahead if you haven't opened yours yet, and taking each of the days and making a build out of them. Yesterday we made day 1 into some brickheads. You're going to have to watch that to find out what that was, and today we're opening day 2 to reveal a kitchen, a cup stand, which is a much chunkier bag than yesterday, which only included one element. But before we get into what's happening today, let's get this build built. Whilst we build day 2 of the LEGO Star Wars 2025 Advent Calendar, I would just like to let you know that there is a playlist. If you are coming back in the future and want to see the other mocks that we've built that aren't Christmassy themed, then there is a playlist. You can check them all out. And I'm going to have to flip the Advent Calendar around and get the instructions for these. All right, I think I have them memorized. Usually I do tear out the pages of the Advent Calendar, but in recent years you've told me not to, because there are a few collectors that pick up the boxes for the Advent Calendars. And if you would like to stay tuned to the end of this Mock Ember series, I will be giving away this very Advent Calendar box signed to one of yous watching. Stay tuned, there'll be more information as the month progresses. I feel like that would be a fun way for me to not destroy it. And then for one of you that do want a signed empty box of the Advent Calendar, to add that to your display. And there we go. We have the finished build for day 3 with a few spare pieces that I'll be adding to my collection. But what really is this display? We've got the yellow mug, which is going to be handy because I have a few things in mind for the mug, and then a few control panels. Not really sure what exactly these are meant to represent. This is something from the Anzellan workshop we see on, what's the planet called? I went to say Kalish, but that's to do with Grievous, on the snowy world of, it will come to me in a second, bear with me, where Babu Frick is. We see Zori Bliss of, I can picture it. We've been there in Outlaws as well. It's more recent than Rise of Skywalker. No, I can't think of it. All right, according to Google, it's either Ilum, which comes up first on Google, or Vandor, which comes up on the fandom for Snowy Planets, which, first off, it is not either of those. It definitely begins with a K. But where's Hoth? Where is Hoth also? Oh, there we go. In other planets on the fandom, we've got Hoth, Maigito, Maldo, Kreese. It's not, but Google thinks it's Ilum in Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. It's not. What's it called? That's gonna bug me. Anyway, we have this Kijimi! It just came to me. The planet's called Kijimi. Oh, that has saved me a long time of thinking. Shout out to any of you that put that in the comments as well. It's Kijimi, where we see the Anzellans like Babu Frick. Babu Frick specifically, I don't think we see any more until the Mando, but there is this little display on the back, which I feel like is perfect for the build from day 1. Spoiler alert, it is Babu Frick we get. I feel like it is some sort of stand for Babu Frick. I'm not sure exactly why, but it's also worth noting we have that little connector to connect this build to some of the other scenes we'll get later on. I think it's about time that I confess I've already built a lot of these early builds for the Advent. In fact, I had the first few days recorded all the way back in July. Yeah, July was quite some time ago. I have modified a few of them, especially yesterday's video has been heavily modified from July, because back then we didn't even have the Sith eyes for the brickheads. Wonder who that could have been. You'll know if you check that out. So the next portion does not have as many Christmas decorations and probably isn't as festive, but I hope you enjoy nonetheless, and then we'll come back to take a closer look at the finished build. Hello there, and welcome to day 2 of the LEGO Star Wars Advent Calendar, where we're building a mock for every single day going up until Christmas. And today, the Advent was the Advent, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Every year we usually get some sort of weapons rack or little rock texture. And even though I know we've looked at the Advent, it's building towards a kind of mini diorama for the Advent. It's great this year. I love that. But I just feel like a table with a yellow cup could have been a little more interesting. I'm looking for like the exclusive piece maybe snuck in. maybe, you know what, give the cup some printing. We've seen it before in the holiday special, the Christmas. What sort of special was that? I can't even remember. It was the one with shirtless Kylo Ren that canonized that for Lego. And it gave the Emperor, well, Darth Vader gave the Emperor a mug with World's Best Emperor on. I mean, how cool would that be to get even in this advent calendar? Sneak that in on top of the table with an exclusive print and everyone would go nuts for it. And no one would be complaining about day 2. But we got to stick out this wave. And that is why today we're going to be making a World's Best Emperor mug. I have 3D printed this, took me bloody forever. That's not true. It took me like the best of the day. I think it was 6-7 hours to 3D print an upscaled Lego mug with, let's fix the exposure. The Lego logo in the bottom of the cup. And the best thing about this is it actually fits a small 330 milliliter can inside that you're then able to drink out of. But I don't drink cans, I don't drink fizz, I basically drink hot chocolate, milkshake and water. So I have my glass here, which works just enough, and you can still see Darth Vader's head. In fact, you can even see just at the bottom, the May the Force be with you in the glass. Perhaps I should have filled this up a bit more before trying this. And I'm able to drink out of it. I thought that was cool that my glass lines up coincidentally to the space of a can, but it's not much a mock if I get the 3D printer to do all the hard work, which it has done. I'm surprised at how well this cup came out. I was worried printing it in this orientation that the handle would snap off at some point because it was only being held up by a few tree supports, and it did really well to continue the rest of the build, line up perfectly. And because this is printed with the smallest layer height that my printer can allow, there are only one, I thought there were three. There are 3 visible lines, 2 of which are barely visible. You have to be looking for them. And one at the bottom of the handle you might be able to see on camera. Maybe the exposure's doing me a solid and is hiding it, but there is one prominent line that goes around the bottom of the handle. Thankfully not around the bottom of the cup. So I don't know what happened there. Might have just been a dodgy bit of filament. I have a shiny sheet of paper here that I've been waffling to wait for this to dry, the clear coat on top to dry. And this is Orbesh for the World's Best Emperor. No, the World's Best Emperor and Palpatine's face, so that we can stick it on the side of this cup, which I think would look awesome. And not just on the large cup, but I actually have a spare small cup to do exactly the same. Before we get into, wow, that size difference is crazy. Before we get into this, I would like to take a look at my complete Lego cup, well, incomplete Lego cup collection. I'm unsure what the scale of this cup is to the official Lego cup, but I do know it's slightly bigger than 1:6. So none of my big figs are able to hold this. It's too big for them. Here I have all of the cups I own and the colors that I'm missing. We're missing light violet, green and blue, which come in very few sets. They're kind of rare elements to get. And actually, I think one of these is fairly new and has only come in sets the last year or so, but a lot of the cups are exclusive to Belleville. I think that's where the light violet and I want to say the blue ones are from. I feel like green is a more recent addition to the collection. I have a flat silver, pink, red, translucent pink, translucent clear, white and yellow. There are a few other colors that are exclusives, be it just variations that have snuck out of factories or to other special editions. I'm not too fussed collecting every variant because otherwise I'd have to collect every single color of plastic and probably want to 3D print my own of those. I'm only interested in the 3 official set releases that I'm missing. And even then, I'm not going to go out of my way to buy these. I'm just going to keep an eye out whenever I'm making a purchase online if I can get any of the ones I'm missing. I also failed to mention that those 3 studs on the right side of the cups are the 3 colors that I'm missing. And I don't know about you, but I could have sworn I said one of those was lilac. And that bottom one is definitely not lilac. Now that these have dried up, I'm going to cut these out. And I've just realized I finished my water, so I'm going to have to get some water as well to soak these in so that we can apply them to the cups. If you are trying to do this at home, don't forget to be very careful whilst cutting the decal. Actually, I should have something round that I can trace. No, the slinky's just too small. I don't think my tape measure is perfectly round, but I mean, if there's nothing else. Perhaps we can use Lego bricks to make our own stencil, because 4 of these quarter plates secured tightly together should roughly be the size that we need to trace around Palpatine's decal. One way to find out, this is a nice upscaled stud, a 1:8 upscale. Fits as the anti-stud for the cup. It fits in the cup, dunk it like a biscuit, which means this is probably about a 1:10 scale, almost double the size of our giant figs. Oh, it's so close, but yet so far. No, but at least we can size this up to find something that will work. No, too small. I don't think there's anything here. Lego don't really have an accurate, what's that, like a 9 or 10 whip circle. Even the Funko base is only slightly bigger than this 8x8 circle. Look at that. So close, but yet so far. Back you go. I think the Lego cup could work. I feel like that's the same as the Funko base, but then it's got a much, that's way too big. Oh, I think the base of a Funko Pop, actually, the base of a Funko Pop would have been perfect, but because Funkos are valuable, and I completely understand that, I'm going to use the base of this more sentimentally valuable Pick-a-Brick cup, because I feel like this is less likely to move. I think that should be it. One way to reveal it and hope that the decal hasn't stuck to the bottom of this cup. You know what? That is a success. Might not be perfectly centered around it, but by popping the decal out, right, maybe should have gone around this twice just to be sure. There we go. We have our Palpatine World's Greatest Emperor decal. That's not half bad. I don't know why the text on top isn't showing up as well on camera. Thankfully, it's all good there. And that means it's going to struggle to fit in my pot of water. Whilst we're here, I might as well cut out... I've just realized something. We could have used the base of... We could have used the base of the cup to cut it out. And I'm not sure if it will work for the little one, but you know, we might as well try. I feel like maybe a hole puncher might be better to cut out this tiny little one than using a Lego element, but we're going to give it our best shot and hope that it doesn't come out looking hexagonal. There we go. That's round enough for me. Palpatine decal might have to overlap the side. Just, you're joking. It is the perfect fit. Not quite sure which side Palpatine has the decal, which is why I printed off 2, because we can definitely fit one either side of the mug. But I'm just going to double check Palpatine isn't weird and has the design on the front. I don't know who would want that. Well, turns out it's harder to find a copy of that. So let's open Disney Plus and check the official version. There we go. I found a scene with Palpatine holding it and the text literally presses up against the handle. So ours might actually look just a little bit better. But first off, let's pop out the little one and make sure we don't need to redo it. That actually doesn't seem too bad. The edges are not as neat as I would like. Hopefully that's going to clear up when we get it stuck onto the mug. Something I've also only just realized after months and months of using this really nice cutting board, which has this Star Wars I Spy. I haven't found all of them yet, but I'm hoping over time I forget the ones I have found so I can just keep doing this forever. I've been using this side to cut on. This is it's a wooden board. It's not specifically for cutting. Over time I will be slowly damaging this. I've been cutting on this side, which has a load of laser engravings of Star Wars characters, and not using the perfectly flat side on the back, which ignore some of the scratches from it. It just means that it's been well loved and looked after. Now that I'm cutting on the flat side, not the bumpy side, my cuttings have improved so much. I think it's ready, but I forgot to get the tweezers. For this video, you will need decal paper, a printer, tweezers, a tub of water, a cup. You could use a real mug, honestly. A design like this Palpatine, though any other design with some Orbesh and Lego characters will do. Maybe even like Death Star plans, and a knife. And for any young'uns out there, also some parental guidance. Usually that's at the start of the videos. We don't do things normally here. I feel like I'm playing hook a duck and I'm a lot better at that game. And slide you across. It's perfect. Nope, I knocked it. It's perfect again. So, as you can all read, here it says World's Best Emperor. Yes, you know what? If I didn't know that, World's Best would be nearly impossible to read, and even Palpatine's face is quite hard to make out. I can kind of understand why LEGO haven't printed something at this scale. It's a lot bigger and clearer when it's on the big screen. It's a really nice piece to own, and eventually I hope to decal the back of it as well. Palpatine's definitely getting this mug. Actually, I can give it to Christmas Palpatine now. Whilst I have given the regular Palpatine face to the Christmas jumpers, I still think the mug fits just because of the duality of the character. I think it's even better, dare I say it, with the fact I've used the normal Palpatine face, because I've kidnapped the face off this Palpatine, the Hooded Emperor, for the episode 3 character to make it look like the one we see at the end of Revenge of the Sith. Maybe I need to get a second. It's only half submerged. I'll show the camera, but I accidentally poured water all over my desk. So I guess we can rotate it and hope that the water soaks through over time. As long as the full thing's wet, I don't see it having any issues pulling off. For future projects such as this scale, I'll definitely need a bigger water tub. Earlier in the year, I was going to do a decal for my giant figure of Jackson, which we ended up brick building. I don't know how I would have done it, because I think even in quarters, that torso decal is not fitting in this. It's like 3 times the size of this circle, and it's not circle, so I'd have to account for all the corners. I have no idea when this thing's gonna be done. All right, it started to slide off, and I don't know the best way I'm gonna do this. The biggest decal I have dealt with is like a 2x3 brick, maybe a 2x4. It's sliding right off. I want to get it as central to the cup. So if I put it like that and slide the paper straight off, don't stick to me, we're just going to have to worry about smoothing it down. My hand's probably got a load of moisture from the water, so it's just going to stick to me. Oh no. I managed to get it back on the paper without stretching any of it, which is an absolute miracle. I don't know how I performed that, and no, I cannot perform that again for camera, ever, and I'd never want to. Now let's slide it straight from the page onto the cup. Maybe it'd be better if I put this down and focused. Now we've just got to straighten it out. Decreasing a decal is the worst part, at least for me. Come on, there's an annoying crease up there, and this bit seems to have folded down. Oh wow, I could just use the tweezers. Tweezers came in rescue there, and I splashed a bit of water on it as well to soothe out most... Oh, now I've held it in the light, there's a few more. There we go. Now that I've held it in the light and done that whole exercise over again, I've smoothed out pretty much all of the bends, any folds, you know what I mean, with the decal. Got it as smooth as I can. And I don't think I'll be doing the other side. I think this one side is good enough. I'll keep this around in case I do decide to do the other and use the bottom of it for more decals. Can't waste a good decal sheet. Here we have not just our large mug, but our small mug as well. I think if LEGO were to do it for this year's advent calendar, we'd probably see something like the Mudhorn egg. That could be quite nice on a yellow Jawa mug, especially with the brown colouring of it. I feel like that could fit in well. But even if LEGO don't decide to print any of the small mugs, because of their size, you can barely see the printing on it. Even up close in the light, it shrinks it down so much. Even a LEGO printer is not going to be able to capture that detail. It begs the question why we haven't seen some larger merch. LEGO sell cups like this in red, blue, and there was an exclusive colour as well. I want to say green because LEGO do everything in green at some point, thankfully, being my favourite colour. But I'd love to see a white LEGO mug with World's Best Emperor, especially if LEGO were to celebrate like Empire Day or something. I know Life Day falls every 40 something years, but I wonder when Empire Day's anniversary would be. If they'd do that, you know, with the movies, or if they'd try to line that up to a real date too. And after all these months, I still have the mug to this day. I've managed to flatten out a few more bumps than we had back when it was made. You can see in the shimmer of the light, it's almost perfectly flat to this mug. But not only does it hold my glass, it also holds a can, a regular 330 milliliter can, and any of the same diameter, and sports that LEGO logo in the middle of the cup. And it doesn't make for too bad of a paintbrush holder
either.
I think this is honestly something that LEGO need to sell, like right now, pronto. It has World's Best Emperor in Orbesh on the front, so it does work for Star Wars, and LEGO do make these cups. Not quite upscaled cups, they're a bit thinner than this, and they're also made of ABS. I'm pretty sure you can test it out. ABS is meant to float in water, and is one of few plastics that actually do. At least float a little bit. It depends how big the actual thing is. You'd need a lot of water to make something like this float. But you can give it a go, and I think LEGO should sell these. It would be a great way to market these sort of cups to Star Wars fans specifically, and not just Star Wars. There are other themes that could do with merch like this, and a few more colors of cups as well, so that I can increase my larger cup collection. But check this out. It will be featured in the background of videos in the new year, and perhaps if I ever get around to drinking anything but water, I can actually make use of this as well. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the other videos on screen, including the playlist for other Mock Ember builds, and may the bricks be with you always.